So, JC, just gone midday there. First results are still a few hours away. Is it still expected that Rodrigo Duterte could win this in a landslide?
Well, that is definitely the perception right now. In the recent surveys, Duterte has had a wide margin of a lead over his rivals, and these were poll surveys carried out very close to the day of the election. So that's something that we are expecting, although critics say that at this point, statistically, it is still possible the three of his other rivals might have a come-from-behind win just yet. John.
So, JT, the current president there has warned if Duterte wins, Filipinos will be electing their next dictator. Why didn't that warning, which seems very dramatic, have much of an impact on voters?
Well, for one thing, that warning has come very close to the day of the elections. It was just over the weekend. Also, there is a pervasive sense of dissatisfaction with the current government, the Aquino government. Poverty has remained practically unchanged since his government began in 2010. Poverty incidence is still at about a third, between a quarter to a third of the country. Duterte, meanwhile, has presented himself as an anti-establishment candidate who's basically promised people that he will rid the country of criminality and crime and dangerous drugs in 6 months. He basically says what people want to hear. That's why he has a very huge amount of groundswell of support from the masses here in the Philippines. John.
It does sound very similar to what's happening in the United States, some people might say. Just logistics here, though. There's been a huge show of force by police because of fears of violence. What's the latest on the security there today?
Well, so far what we've heard from the police is that there are at least 9 people who've already died in violent incidences around the country. Some cities very close to the capital. We are expecting I fear we might hear more reports of such incidents throughout the day. We are definitely getting reports of violence in Mindanao. That's a part of the country that's about 1,500 kilometers south of the capital. John.
JC Gatinga there with the very latest from Manila. Thanks for checking in. We appreciate it.
Police and military authorities in Maguindanao had already recorded 5 deaths and 9 wounded in a separate incident related to the conduct of election. Six-sided spokesman Captain Joan Pitinglay said that around 8 in the evening last night, a supporter of a local candidate was killed in a shooting incident in Talitay Municipality. It was followed by an explosion incident in Dato Unsay Municipality where 2 persons were wounded. About 1 a.m. today, still in Dato Unsay, 2 explosions occurred, where 1 civilian was killed and 3 were wounded. Around 7:30 this morning, 2 were killed and 1 was wounded in a shooting and mauling incident in Dindulungan Municipality, while 1 was killed and 3 were wounded in a 2 explosion incident before midnight of Saturday in Sharif Aguac Municipality. Authorities also recorded an explosion incident in Tagalungan, Maguindanao around 6:30 today, and another explosion incident in Mamatapano, Maguindanao around 9 a.m., but no one was hurt in the incident. Still in Dato Unsay, tension erupted about 10 a.m. due to the presence of supporters of the 2 local candidates who were armed with a piece of wood and ready to assault each other's camp. Captain Pitinglay assured the public that the authorities were still stuck or were still on the top.
Yes, hello. I am here live at Mambahaw Central School, wherein there are 1,066 registered voters with about 10.5% of the total 57,570 registered voters in the island province. Despite the heat, voting is going well, but the waiting lines of the 9 precincts are getting longer and longer as more and more Mambahawnons cast their vote. According to Verson Salvania, LGU Mambahaw official, Mayor Maria Luisa Romualdo, as well as her husband, Governor Jordine Jesus Romualdo, and their son, Congressman Javier Jesus Romualdo, will be voting here at MCS. But so far, the PNP on watch here has verified that they haven't undergone the voting process yet and are not here yet. Meanwhile, Pinilaban candidates Manny Haujan and Nordine Gogo Romualdo will be voting in Sagay and Mambahaw respectively. Over the course of the election campaign period, tension has been rising between the 2 parties As a matter of fact, there have been conflicting reports on social media sites, particularly on Facebook, concerning issues of vote buying within the island. But according to Attorney Ali Dayo Ramirez, acting provincial election supervisor, as far as the Commission on Election is concerned, no formal reports have been filed to verify the presence of vote buying in the island. According to the attorney, people might be too afraid to report such anomalies if ever there is in fact vote buying here. But as of now, things are okay between the two parties as Camiguin faces 2016 halalan. Furthermore, provincial jail prisoners have also exercised their votes. Various PNP officers accompanied inmates throughout their voting venture here at MCS at about 9 o'clock in the morning. In a statement by SPO1 Roy from Campo, a watchguard here at the voting center, MCS remains emergency-free with no incidents reported yet. That's all for Camiguin Now. This is Trisha May Lupina for CNN.
Thanks a lot, Trisha Lupina, telling us there that there have been complaints, specifically on Facebook, on social media, on vote buying over there in Camiguin. But as Trisha reported to us, the provincial supervisor of the COMELEC, they're saying that no formal complaint.
Umabot nga sa 30 minuto ang pagboto nitong si Manny Pacquiao, ang kongresista nitong probinsya ng Sarangani na tumatakbo bilang isang senador. Ayon nga sa kay Manny Pacquiao, na naging tama din naman yung naging ginawa niyang pagboto, pag-sheet doon sa mga official ballots kasi inisa-isa niya pag-silip doon sa mga kandidato na nasa official ballot. Sabi niya na walang problema yung naging pagboto niya dahil siya mismo ang nakakita at siya mismo ang may alam kung sino yung mga binoto niya mula sa presidente hanggang sa party list members at maging sa mga local officials dito sa Kiamba Central School Sped Center kung saan yung polling center siya nakapalobistik isang botante or bilang isang botante. Sabi pa, dagdag pa niya na yung pagpila niya is walang problema dahil mismo ang mga botante na rin ang nagbigay daan para sa kanya na makapag-boto kaagad. Daladala niya itong kanyang mga maraming security escort para sa kanyang seguridad at kasama niya rin ang kanyang may bahay na si Vice Governor Ading Pacquiao dito rin sa probinsya ng Sarangani. Maabot nga ng 30 minuto dahil doon lang tumagal sa pagpila sa kung saan yung kanyang official ballot is akman na niyang iuhulog doon sa VCM. Pag hulog niya doon sa VCM, saglit na nagkaroon ng pag-jam doon sa balota, kung kaya't agad itong trabaho ng mga BEI, kaso ng mga BEI at ang yung resibo, naubos din sa pagkuha ni Manny Pacquiao. So, yung resibo niya, bahagi na rin niya sinilip at sabi niya walang problema itong mga lumabas na pangalan doon sa resibo o pagkatapos niyang bumoto. Samantala, may mga iilan ding mga DCM ang nagkaaberya dito sa nasabing munisipyo kung saan botante itong pamilya ang mag-asawang Pinky at Manny Pacquiao sa the same na presinto dito sa Kiamba Central School Sped Center. Kaya umabot ng ilang minuto ang pag-aantala ng pagboto ng mga botante dahil sa nagkaroon ng aberya yung mga BCM na agad sinakluhan din naman ng mga technician. Yan na muna kaganapan mula rito sa probinsya ng Sarangani, Pinky.
So para malinaw, Roland, kung saan bumoto si Manny Pacquiao, wala nga siya naging problema, walang naging aberya yung kanyang pagboto. Pero mismo sa presinto, merong iba na bumoto na yung BCM ay nagproblema?
Yes, ibang presinto.
Sa ibang presinto?
Sa ibang presinto. Doon lang din mismo sa eskwelahan.
Aguinaldo High School in Amatina, Davao City. Behind me is Class Astor Precinct 416. This is where presidential candidate Rodrigo Duterte is going to vote later this afternoon. He is expected to arrive here at around 2 to 3 p.m. later today. Now, let me show you what's going on in the precinct. As you can see, there's really just a lot of reporters here on the standby waiting for the mayor's arrival. Also, earlier, let me pan you over to what's inside the precinct. Earlier, there were K9 units deployed inside the classroom to check and inspect the area. But you know, Pinky, this is really just the busiest part of this school. If we go and check the other parts of the school, things are really a bit more peaceful. Not many people are voting right now. As you can see here, the people in red, they're just really here on standby. They're already finished voting, all waiting for the mayor's arrival. Again, the mayor is expected here at around 2 to 3 p.m. Earlier, Pinky, we were at the house of Mayor Duterte, and it turns out he's not there. We did chance upon Hanilet, his longtime partner, who just came from her precinct to vote, and she told us again that Mayor Duterte is not there, but she didn't say where the mayor is going to, or will be coming from before voting. She said mayor actually could still be sleeping, and she said, no, patulugin muna natin since this is the only time that the mayor's had enough time to rest since the start of the campaign period. Now, how is Hanilet doing? She said she's feeling happy and relaxed. She said, and I quote, Pinky, I think the Lord has taken the burden from my heart. Asked what burden this is, she said that when she voted, she was happy to see that the elections in her precinct at least were going well, orderly, and that's really what they're hoping for right now. And how is the mayor feeling? We also asked her, and she said the mayor is relaxed. You know, in the past, he said Mayor Duterte would often just sit back and relax after he's voted, maybe even head to the mall. But she said this time around, that's obviously not the case anymore. She said the mayor can't just go anywhere and relax after he votes later this afternoon. So it's still unclear really where the mayor will be heading and monitoring the elections throughout the day. After here, though, we were told that he may be giving a press conference after the precincts close for voting. Pinky?
Absolutely, Ina. Different campaign for Mayor Rodrigo Duterte. He's been used to the local campaign arena. This is the National Post. And of course, there are stories circulating, I'm sure, for most presidential candidates. It's really their time to vote and somehow relax, but I'm sure a lot of tension also in finding out the outcome of the votes a little later on. But Ina, Hanilet, did she vote in that area as well, and the daughter in Daisara? Is that the same precinct?
Yes, this is the same school where Inday Sara voted. Earlier this morning, Hanilet, she was in a different precinct, but she didn't tell us where. So we checked the list here yesterday, and we saw that there are actually 3 Dutertes registered here, but we're really not familiar with the other name that we saw. Again, of course, one being Mayor Duterte himself and Inday Sara Duterte.
Of course, Ina, you've been following Mayor Rodrigo Duterte's campaign from the very beginning. A lot of media there. I see it behind you. You said that's probably the only area over where you are that's very busy at the moment.
Right. You're exactly right, Pinky. You know, it's not just the local reporters here, not just national reporters who flew in from Manila, but international foreign press are also here, of course, waiting for the survey frontrunner to arrive here. A lot of them have been here since yesterday. We're actually billeted in the same hotel as many of them, and really you sense this people's curiosity and interest in Mayor Duterte. And you know, we were told at 2 to 3 p.m. he might be here, but really we're expecting him to change his plans. So everyone's really just on standby here, waiting for him to show up. In the past, we understand, we were told by his spokesman that it's just really the habit of Mayor Duterte not to show himself in public during elections, and I guess it's also the case this year, though. And we're still hoping, though, to hear from him in the press conference this.
Yes, Pinky, troubleshooters have yet to repair vote counting machines that malfunctioned this morning present at Corazon Aquino Elementary and High School in Quezon City. Those who lined up as early as 7 in the morning have yet to cast their votes. Election supervisors say the replacement machines have yet to arrive. There there's still a number of complaints about missing names on master list. The crowd is seen to swell this afternoon because of last-minute voters. As you can see, people are still coming in. So be advised to come here as early as you can for you to be able to cast your vote. Thank you.
Is there any information, Rex, on when the BCMs will be replaced?
According to the Board of Election Inspectors, they have yet to determine what time Smartmatic officials from the Quezon City Hall will arrive here, because they've been waiting here for 6 hours already, and the replacement of machines, according to Smartmatic officials we talked to, say are not that easy because there are still many paperwork that needs to be done.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine if it's actually easy or how long or how tedious it would be to actually replace those vote counting machines. It's just a little bit of a concern because they've been there since 7 a.m. Those who have been there since 7 a.m. have not been able to cast their votes. It's already 1 p.m. and as we all know, voting closes at 5 p.m. Of course, depending if there is still a line there. But a 6-hour wait because of problems with the VCM, that would be surely a concern for many of the voters there.
Well, according to Board of Election Inspectors that we talked to, say that they can't do anything about it. It's a liability of the provider of these machines. As to voters, some of them are willing to wait. However, some already went out of the precinct because it's already too long. It's taking too long for them to cast their vote. But the good news is that those who are already here and those who have waited will be surely accommodated, even if the replacement machines will go even now.
6 hours into the election day, the Parish Pastoral Council for Responsible Voting has received reports on election violence, cheating, and technical setbacks. So far, 3 casualties have been reported to the citizen arm, one of them claiming the life of a local candidate in Barangay Divisoria in Masbate. The other 2 incidents reported was due to a brawl at the Tamburan Elementary School in Maguindanao and a shooting incident in Labay area. There were also reports of a shooting incident in Sultan Sobarungis in Maguindanao, although no reports yet if there were any lives claimed in this incident. In Cotabato City, the PPCRV decided to pull out their volunteers and bring them to a safe, undisclosed area after they observed cheating. The volunteers are making a statement and will file a report within the day. Still in Maguindanao, in Sinsuat town this time, policemen asked PPCRV volunteers to step out of the precinct. Under the law, poll watchers are allowed inside precincts and police are supposed to be outside guarding the vicinity. In Parañaque City, meanwhile, a Board of Elections inspector arrived past 10 o'clock this morning in the polling precinct, causing a delay in the elections. When they were ready to start voting, the vote counting machine malfunctioned, causing further delays in the polls. VCM malfunction has been widespread, with the PPCRV receiving the same reports of technical issues and paper jams in Maguindanao, Lanao del Sur, Misamis Occidental, Leyte, Dumaguete, Bohol, Quezon, Aurora, Romblon, Zambales, Pasig, Mandaluyong, Catanduanes, Cavite, and Bataan. PPCRV Chair Tito De Villa says these are all reports from the ground and they do not want to sound alarmist, but rather they just want the public to know what their volunteers are telling them. They are also appealing to the COMELEC to extend voting hours, especially in these areas where voting has been delayed, because the delays are not within, or rather are beyond the control.
The connectivity testing of COMELEC is finally completed. Makati Coliseum is the venue for the local canvassing later this evening. COMELEC tested the canvassing equipment to ensure smooth reception of all the election returns for the canvassing later. We now have here representatives from COMELEC and the Philippine National Police. Right now, the lights are dim here because the facilities are being checked and some.
You know what, PK, it's starting to drizzle here in our area in Tabuco Central School here in Naga City, where Vice Presidential candidate Lenny Robredo voted earlier. And so far, we're still seeing a lot of voters flocking here in Tabuco Central School as near the 5 p.m. deadline. And with me right now is a PWD voter, Mr. Roberto Veloso. He actually suffered from stroke. That's why he's having a hard time voting. That's why his son Raymond accompanied his father today to vote. Raymond, kamusta yung experience sa pagboto sa tatay mo?
First time po, saka mahirap din, pero karapat niya po bumoto.
Sinasabi mo kanina, nahihirapan na siyang bumoto sa pag-shade. Di ba ikaw yung nag-shade?
Bali, ako po yung nag-shade, then siya na po yung pumili ng kanyang bubotohin.
Alam natin na napakahirap na nung kalagayan ni Tatay Nono, pero bakit pinili pa rin niyang bumoto ngayong araw?
Yun na nga po, para sa karapatan niya po makaboto, then pumili yung tama at matulungan din po.
Pinky, that's Raymond Veloso. He actually accompanied his father, Roberto Veloso, here just to vote here at Tobacco Central School here in Naga City, in Tobacco Central School. And we're still expecting
They delayed the casting of votes of cluster percent number 122 after the vote counting machine or VCM suddenly malfunctioned. For how many hours of some voters assigned in Tagum City Comprehensive National High School of Barangay Mangrang, Tagum City are going home because they feel hungry and thirsty. According to Mr. Fernando Labrador, Board of Election Inspector Chairman, among 756 registered voters from 5 clustered precincts, only 8 voters successfully opened. The fifth cluster opened to voters at exactly 6:32 in the morning due to the lack of reserve VCM for Tagum area. The COMELEC did not manage to change directly the malfunctioned VCM. Even the assigned technician failed to settle the not working equipment of Smartmatic. For this problem, the BIs, with the permission of the COMELEC, allow the voters who voluntary to vote without seeing the receipt, but majority of the voters did not cast their votes. At exactly 1 p.m. today, they
sunny weather here in Iloilo City as more voters coming into different poll precincts. Iloilo is considered to be the bailiwick of Liberal Party, but 2 presidential candidates, Grace Poe and Miriam Defensor Santiago, who are also from Iloilo, are expected to divide the votes of LP standard bearer Mar Rojas. Senate President Franklin Drilon also casted his vote here at around 9:15 a.m. in Baluarte Elementary School. As of the moment, voting is still ongoing here, but some precincts encountered paper jams and minor glitches in vote counting machines. Some vote counting machines in one of the precincts at Sambag Elementary School in Haro District backed down and they resorted to manual voting. More than 5 VCMs in Iloilo, specifically in the 4th and 5th districts, are also experiencing overheating and could not print receipts. Though there are no city or town in the region considered to be an election watch list area, the Police Regional Office 6 is keeping an eye to 23 areas of interest. According to PRO 6 Director Chief Superintendent Bernardo Diaz, these areas are noticed for such intense political rivalries and reported presence of rebels. Yesterday, 2 supporters of Mayoralty candidate were riddled with bullets in Sitio Panian, Balasan Town. The victims were supporters of Mayoralty candidate Melinda Riquinto in the neighboring Estancia town. According to Iloilo Provincial Police Office, the ambush took place around 1:45 p.m. at the junction road between Estancia and Balasan. Estandarte and Magarso were on board a van. The city of Iloilo has 461,481 registered voters from 180 villages. There are also 1,736 police precincts in the city alone. The province of Iloilo, on the other hand, is considered as one of the vote-rich provinces in the country. 17 candidates in the province of Iloilo running for various posts have no opponents, according to the data from the COMELEC. So we are expecting 1.4 million registered voters here in Iloilo who will cast their ballots today in various polling precincts. So these are the latest updates.
Yes, thank you. President Aquino is now back in Malacanang after a quick visit in his hometown, Tarlac, to vote. It took almost an hour before the president was able to cast his vote at the Central Azucarera de Tarlac Elementary School. He arrived past 9 a.m. with his sisters, Pinky and Balfi, his in-laws and nephews as well. Upon arrival, he first searched for his name on the voters list and then greeted some voters in the area. Lines were locked outside his designated presence. That's why he joined other voters who were patiently waiting for their turn to vote. It's his last time to vote as the country's top leader because today Along with millions of Filipinos, Aquino voted for his preferred successor. President Aquino has since supported administration that Mar Rojas and Lenny Robredo. While it took him 15 minutes to finish the whole voting process, from shading the ballot, inserting it into the vote counting machine, up to verifying his vote from the receipt. He occupied the first seat and was very careful in shading the circle corresponding his candidate of choice. Compared from others who would finish in about 5 minutes, he stayed there for 10 minutes. He even brought a piece of paper which appears to be a código or a list of names of the candidates he would vote for. He also double-checked if his votes registered correctly through the voter's receipt. Then he immediately left after voting and went back to Malacanang to monitor elections. There are 739 voters at the Central Azucarera Elementary School, with 97 voters sharing the same precinct with him. It's very noticeable that voters are trying to put up with the scorching heat, many of them holding paper pans due to the hot weather. Some have even waited for at least 2 hours, particularly those whose names are listed under precinct number 76. This vote counting machine had to be replaced after the thermal paper jam. Provincial Election Supervisor Gilbert Almario says it's becoming glitch in every precinct, which caused delay in the voting